Yeah. Who wants to hear a story? I know I do. Hey you, sitting there with nothing to do, why don't you come over here and maybe try something new? Yes you, don't waste your time just planting your seeds. Let's partake in FlameAmigo619 reads. You got a pick, he'll read ya, hilarity he'll feed ya, or maybe deep emotions, whatever the feeling doesn't matter. Either solo or with friends, we're going on a trip to faraway places, or maybe not, just take a tip from me. He does have some standards, they're not far-fetched, it's a stretch, so keep that in mind, don't be a bitch. So kick up your feet, find something comfy to sit in, and enjoy the show. Now let us begin.
I'm sorry, no, but you can't rue this. What are you, like, frickin' shy? Ah, hey, what's up? So, yeah, hi, it's that time of the week.
To send away for the free brochure?
Fucker, you
To make fun of the Disney Channel?
that actually we can do. In a weird way to tie in Disney Channel into this, welcome to FlameAmigo619 Reads. I kind of said it right that time, but I don't care. This is episode 29, and I think I'm actually keeping up with this for now. Today we are reading something total drama related. I am not the hugest fan of total drama. I used to be. I liked Island and Action. I thought they were okay. I thought World Tour just kind of plummeted. And I'm not going to say anything nice on Revenge of the Island. It just so happens, though, that we have two major, huge total drama nerds in here. That would be the couple of our, well, one of the couples of our group, Joey and Tanya. We also have other people in this. We have Joel,
Why am I doing this? I don't even know.
Jimmy,
Total drama was not in my contract for this reading.
No, actually, it's in the super microscopic fine print.
Yes, you see, it's in the fine print within the fine print of the fine print, and in that fine print you'll find a few fine prints doing loop-de-loop in the fine print.
You're drunk.
I hate the fine print.
The story we've picked is Hunted. It is I believe, an anti-Duncan and Gwen story.
Yes.
From what I understand, the whole Duncan and Gwen, Duncan and Trent, Duncan and Courtney situation, from what I vaguely remember, there are shippers all over the place in total drama. Duncan is being hunted by the law, accused of murdering a woman, a crime he says he did not commit, and taking a big risk in seeking out the help of an old girlfriend to escape the law. Is this risky, possibly stupid move even worth the risk? He's willing to take the chance if it means securing his freedom. Okay, well that doesn't seem too bad. This could be interesting.
And also, for those curious, Will could not be here today because, you see, he got eaten by a wildebeest that was eaten by an alligator that tried to wrestle with Bullfrog on the moon.
He started from sleep in terror and leapt up from the ground. For a moment he could not understand the noise, and he crouched down in his hiding spot, listening intently, his eyes wide in the darkness. Quickly he realized that it was not just any noise, but the barking of dogs. Police dogs. He could hear the shouts of their police handlers. They knew where he was. They were closing in on him. Looking around, panic grew inside of him. He needed to make a run for it, before they could find him. He wanted to remain a free man. He wasn't going to jail for a crime he didn't commit, for once. He could no longer remain in the shadows, for if he did, they would be sure to find him, and there would be no other chance of escape. Standing up for a moment, he began to run, running faster than he had ever run in his life. His bare feet pounded through the loose dirt that covered the forest floor. He was very tired, but he could not afford to stop now. Around him, coming closer and closer, was the prospect of capture, conviction, and life imprisonment. Thank goodness Canada abolished the death penalty ages ago. To his left, he saw the first of the flashlights shining through the trees. He was running closer and closer to the edge of the forest, where he hoped that an old friend of his would be able to help him out of his current predicament. Surely they wouldn't abandon him in his time of need, right? Seeing that he was nearing cliffs, he slowed down his pace, but his heart certainly didn't. The only way of getting away from the cops was over this cliff and into the water below. Why didn't it occur to him before?
Stop!
A voice shouted, and he froze in the glare of the flashlight. There certainly was no other choice now. He jumped. Straightening out quickly so that he wouldn't be disemboweled by the jagged rocks just beneath the surface, he hid behind a few rocks, avoiding the glare of the police flashlights while he caught his breath. The waves surged around him, his lungs were bursting and his ears were already pounding, for he had nearly been out of breath when he took the dive. After a while he took a deep breath and plunged beneath the water again. Scraping his hands and knees every now and then on the rock beneath the surface, he worked his way away from the shore. $500,000 was the bounty on his head. That was a lot of money, the price they had set for his capture. A lot of people would be looking for him, just so they could collect the cash. The fact that he was a celebrity of sorts also didn't help his situation. Perhaps once he was safe at his old friend's house, he'd be able to get himself together and form a new identity before he moved on. The man stiffened and looked up. Above the noise of the waves on the rock, he could distinguish the voices of several men and a few women as well. Now he could hear the sound of someone climbing down the rock high above him. Struggling to climb up into a small water-filled cave he just spotted inside the lower rungs of the cave was no easy feat. Traction was nearly impossible to achieve, with slimy sea moss liberally coating the walls and the salty water stinging the cuts and bruises on his arms and legs. Holding his breath, he ducked beneath the water and swam further inside of the cave, pulling himself onto a tiny piece of rock there, barely enough for him to crouch down on anxiously. There was a splash. A policeman had dropped down into one of the lower caves, one which was still way above his current position, and staggered as he landed, the light of the flashlight bouncing around crazily at the impact. The torch rolled over the side of the cliff and landed in the waves below. The policeman cursed and the hunted man had to struggle to hold in a snicker.
Hey, Jones.
The police officer called up.
Dalton,
A female voice called down.
I lost my light.
Dalton called up.
what the hell am I supposed to do about it?
Jones asked.
Do you see anything?
Dalton shouted.
Hell, I can barely see you. It's too dark. Do you think he went in the opposite direction?
Jones asked.
He was running this way, Natalie.
So I guess the smarter thing to do would be to send some of the others in that direction. To check just in case, Rick.
The hunted man could hear Dalton sigh.
Hold on, I'm coming up to you and the others. Hold on, I'm coming back up to you and the others. This place looks real dangerous. A guy could slip off these rocks and drown rather easily. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if we found Barrow's body floating around here in the morning.
Well, coming up then, let's go. We're gonna have to wait until morning. We can't do any more now.
Jones sighed in defeat. Yes. He waited for a few moments before making his way out of the cave. In the distance he could faintly see the retreating figures of the policemen. The hunted man swam warily, as the sharp rocks beneath the water were not easy to avoid. At last he reached the shore, the barking of the dogs fading away into the night, running swiftly now, all caution gone.
Are you fucking serious? I'm not helping you. I want nothing to do with this.
Gwen said, fiddling with a strand of her hair.
It's your own business. It was only a matter of time before something like this happened. You were a crook and a liar all your life, Duncan. Now you're reaping the rewards.
Okay.
Duncan held up his hands in protest.
I get your point, Gwen, but I didn't do this. I swore on my life.
Are you trying to tell me that you didn't kill that poor woman in her own house while she was sleeping, unable to try to even defend herself?
Gwen's voice rose an octave.
I didn't do it.
Duncan insisted.
I may be a lot of things, but I'm certainly not a murderer.
Really?
Gwen looked around the backyard before quickly running inside and fetching a newspaper.
You might as well stop saying that. Have a look at this.
She tossed the paper to Duncan, who took it and scanned the headline quickly with terror in his eyes. Former total drama star still hunted by RCMP. The story told the world that he, Duncan Barrow, had killed a woman, and he had no chance to save himself.
You see? You're even more wanted than Izzy ever was while we were on Total Drama.
Duncan barely heard Gwen's words as he crumpled up the paper and threw it, in a sudden spasm of frustration, violence, and fear as far away from him as he could.
Everyone has classed me as a murderer.
He groaned.
I didn't do it, Gwen. I may deface public property, steal a couple of things, threaten a few people, but I could never kill someone.
His expression changed. He took Gwen's hands in his, briefly glancing at the golden wedding ring she wore and searching her face for a sign of hope, but Gwen's eyes were cold and hard and her lips compressed.
Listen, you idiot.
Gwen's expression suddenly changed and tears blurred her vision.
Back in Total Drama, we were good friends at first, Alliance members. Then in World Tour, we became something more. Even if it was at Courtney's expense, which I still feel badly about whenever I think about it. Even if we are somewhat friends now, though I'm not entirely sure you feel badly about it.
She paused to wipe her eyes.
I thought what we had was some kind of love, and we even stayed together for a little while after that, but it turned out to be nothing more than a passing attraction, not true love. I was attracted to a petty criminal of all things. I hoped that you would have changed for the better even after we broke up, but you didn't. Even though I and many others tried to warn you, Jeff, DJ, even old enemies like Harold, Noah, and Courtney herself. She'd have so much fun prosecuting you if she was eligible to be on your case.
Come on, Gwen, I'm asking you for a break, please. I won't be able to handle life in prison.
Duncan pleaded. Gwen pulled her hand from Duncan's grip.
Duncan, I am in no position whatsoever to help you. I actually managed to get back together with Trent, even after all that happened between us. He's a music teacher at one of the best private high schools in the whole area, and I work at the local university in the creative arts faculty. Our daughter Kayla is inside sleeping now. I'm 3 months pregnant with our second child. You're only out to preserve your own skin, and you don't care what happens to me after you get away. The RCMP could come and lock me up, take me away from my family, my life, and you wouldn't give a damn.
That's not true. I'm only asking for a break, Gwen. I'm only asking for a break. You have to believe me. I'm innocent.
His voice was shrill with the need to be believed, if only for a moment. However, Gwen's face had resumed its former stone-like expression.
You're still lying. Why are you insulting my intelligence with such a stupid lie?
Gwen asked flatly. Duncan could only sigh.
Look, Gwen, I went into the house to steal. I searched the entire house, taking what I could. Then I went into her room, and I saw her on the bed, sleeping peacefully.
He paused, his expression changing to a pained one.
I heard someone else come into the room. The woman's husband. I ducked into the closet and I said quickly, and then he stabbed her with this huge knife. I never saw so much blood in my entire life. 1, 2, 3, just like that. I lost count of how many times he stabbed her. I jumped out and ran over to her. I tried pulling the knife out to see if I could save her, and the blood just splattered all over my clothes. Next thing I knew, all these people had rushed in, grabbing me. I honestly don't know how I got away. I'm telling you, that same man that has the police after me is the one who murdered her.
Gwen sighed.
Look, Duncan, do you want me to help you?
Yes, of course.
Well then, why don't you tell me the truth?
I told you the truth already. I didn't kill her.
Gwen suddenly leaped up and slapped him across the face, sending him tumbling to the ground in shock. She leaned over him and slapped him back and forth across the face.
Tell me the truth, Duncan! I want to hear the truth!
What I told you was the truth,
he said, trying to keep the panic out of his voice. The panic that persistently hammered at his brain.
I didn't kill the woman.
Gwen hit him again, and again. He opened his mouth to make another anguished protest, but he saw Gwen's eyes and the denial froze on his lips.
Okay,
He exclaimed.
I killed her. Only I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I killed her. Are you satisfied? Are you gonna give me a chance now?
Gwen paused, something in her eyes changing. After a few tense seconds, she reached out a hand, not to slap him, but to help him up.
Come on, Duncan. I'll help you.
She turned away from him and led him out to the backyard. They walked around the house, their eyes darting from side to side with the fear of discovery constantly on their minds.
He's out of town for a few days, leading a group of students from his school on a trip to some music competition in Ottawa. He won't be back for about another week.
Gwen rubbed her stomach unconsciously.
Where's the garage?
It's on the other side of the house. We have to walk around the front to get to it. Trent hasn't installed a door, so we can't access it from the backyard yet.
Duncan pulled his tattered black hoodie up as a car passed on the other side of the street.
Trent has plenty of old cars and motorcycles in there fixing up in his free time. That's why the garage is bigger than the house.
Gwen chuckled.
You should be able to find something in there that you can use to get away.
Wish I had something to give you for helping me out like this.
Imagine, all these years stealing, robbing, and conning people, and you don't have much money to your name.
Such is life.
You're even worse off now that you're a murderer.
Duncan said nothing, but he was full of hurt when he saw his old flame look at him that way. Silence.
Here we are.
Gwen said at last, rummaging around in the pocket of her white dressing robe for her keys. The garage was dark as they entered, but Duncan flicked on the light as he went in.
Wait in there for a while. I have to get you some supplies and bring the keys for these. I also have to make sure that the coast is clear so no one will see you. Wait until I get back, okay?
Are you two gonna fuck?
Are you fucking kidding me? What the
Oh, hi, Will!
fuck? Are you Oh,
You ruined the
Get
recording!
here. Will! Joey, you fucking liar. You told me he was being eaten by something that was being eaten by something with the moon. Clearly he is right fucking here.
Way to ruin the merman.
Sorry. I didn't know you guys were doing a reading. I'm sorry.
I told you we were doing a recording.
You did it?
Yeah, I did. I sent it to you about...
Yeah, you just said it.
No, I sent it to you at about 10:34.
You two just fuck already. Jesus.
Oh, fine, all right. Sage, drop your drawers. Well, he told me to.
Shake my fucking head.
Okay, Percy. Thanks for doing this for me.
Gwen didn't answer. She looked at Duncan for a moment and shook her head slowly before going inside the house. After she was gone, Duncan shat the door.
Shut the front door!
How can he shut a door?
So he shot on a door? Okay.
Oh god, this was supposed to be a serious rating. We fucked up now.
Sorry.
It's okay. Alright. After she was gone, Duncan shut the door securely and sat down to await Gwen's return. Gwen was gone for a long time when he finally heard a knock. He was relieved but cautious. He waited until he heard Gwen's voice call.
Duncan.
Duncan unlocked the door. They were on him suddenly, under a mass of uniforms and tasers, guns pointed in his direction, screaming and struggling as they pinned his arms together and dragged him roughly to his feet. He snarled like a wild animal, and over the heads of the RCMP saw Gwen, the woman he once loved, the woman who had now betrayed him. As he strove to get to her, shrieking out curses, a light flickered above in the house, and a little girl of no more than 4 looked out, looking confused, then terrified of the scene below. Someone hit him across the mouth, and they dragged him out into the street, throwing him into the waiting van as houses all around turned on their lights, and curious neighbors came out of them to investigate the ruckus.
What's going on, Mommy?
The little girl inside the house ran outside and to her mother's side, watching the scary-looking man in the street in front of their house with the green eyes of her father and speaking softly. Gwen ran her fingers through her daughter's soft black curls.
Nothing for you to worry about, sweetheart. Now why don't you go inside and play with your toys while Mommy talks to a nice policeman, okay?
She nodded as an older neighbor, a friend of hers and Trent's, came over and followed Kayla inside.
Well then, officers, I believe you have some questions for me.
She sat casually on a bench in the yard, folding her arms across her chest, awaiting the torrent of questions they were sure to have. The end.
The Teletoon networks are not gonna like this.
Ouch. just ouch.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you for this. Just by the way, Tanya's the one who found this story. So other than Will coming out of East Bumblefuck, what did you guys think? On that note, thank you for being here tonight. Episode 30. Oh boy. It's going to be an interesting episode. If you're curious, yes, FlameAmigo619 reads will continue, but we're going to have a new series up instead. You'll see very soon. Well, hopefully by the end of the month. Well, maybe before then. Well, I don't know.
Well, let's get soup.
Good night.